Yes, lad.
Yes, brother. Finally.
How's it going? Why can't you see me?
Hold on.
You should be able to see me.
There you go.
Yes, bro. How's it going, man?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, man. Long time coming, bro.
I know it's been a while. It's been a while. We was meant to do it over there, but then obviously complications and stuff like that. So
Yeah, man.
anyway,
Yeah,
you're
man.
here now anyway. So let's get
I'm
cracking.
here. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go. I'm ready, bro.
Um,
I'm chilly.
First of all, let's explain to the people who you are, what you do, and then we'll just jump right
Yeah.
into it.
So I'm Hameed. I'm 22 years old. I'm a singer-songwriter from Leeds. I'm a vocalist, just an all-round creative. And yeah, like I've been on the scene for, a few years, but I'm a northern-based artist. I also study music journalism. So, I'm at uni doing my thing. And yeah, just out here, man, creating art, sharing it to the world, staying active as possible.
Bro, I just learned something new. I didn't even know you was 22.
Really?
I thought you was
Yeah,
older.
man, I'm 22, bro. I feel old, man. I feel old.
You know why I feel like you're old? Because you've been on the scene for so long. That's why I thought you was older than that, but you've been on the scene for time. So I just want
Bro,
to know.
since I was about 15, 16.
You answered my question. I was about to say, how long have you been doing it?
Yeah, well, to be honest, like a lot of people knew of me before then, but I think when I was 16, I went on The Voice, and that just propelled my career completely. Like I didn't even get a turn on the show, and the audition got 1 million views. So just off the back of that, I kind of built a career, just kind of, used that platform and used the momentum from that platform to kind of build my social media, build my career, my radio links, and a lot of relationships with people in the industry as well. But yeah, that was kind of like the catalyst. And then, for the past 4.5 years, I've kind of like continued my career and pushed past the kind of tarnish that The Voice gave me. Because it kind of tarnishes your career a little bit. You get categorized as the artist that was on The Voice.
Developed so much.
But yeah.
I want to know, like, how. So you were 16, so basically you've only kind of been on the scene for a whole year before you went onto there. I was a bit like me with dancing. So when I did dancing, I did it for about a year, and I thought I was 6. I was like, yo, I'm gonna go and break the talent. And oh my lord, like, geez. Anyway, back to the point. How was that process? Do you just apply and then you get accepted and you go on, or is there like stages that you have to go through, like X Factor? Like, what's the process?
So the process for The Voice was pretty much what I'd done is I'd been busking. So I was in Manchester city centre, and I'd been, just out about, making some money. And I got approached by a woman, and she was like, look, I don't know if you're interested, but we've got auditions running for The Voice down at the Hilton Hotel in Manchester. She was like, maybe just come down, and have a tryout. And I was like, okay, I've got nothing to lose really. So I kind of went through to this process, and I was with my brother at the time, and I said, bro, like if we have to queue for more than like an hour, because how the talent shows are, like there's a lot of queuing. I said, look, I ain't queuing around. Like I'm gonna go there, see what it's about, and given how long we're there, if we're waiting for like over an hour, we can just forget it and we can go back to the city. Literally got there within the first 20 minutes. We were in an audition room full of 20 people, and they made you go around in a circle and sing a minute of a song each. From that process, from the 10 people, they rule it down to 2 in that room. So it was me and another guy, can't remember his name. After that process, they put you in a room with a producer, or 2 or 3 producers and a vocal coach, and they literally make you sing like 2 full songs. They completely critically analyze your performance, see if you've got the potential to kind of be on the show, whatever.
Yeah.
But I was really young, and to be very honest with you, like I didn't understand the kind of size and velocity of what I was doing. Like, I didn't really get it. I was just like, oh mate, I've sang in 100 rooms before. Like, you know, I'm just there for a bit of fun.
Yeah.
So that happened, and then I surpassed those stages, and then I continued moving forward, and they support you, and they kind of help you pick your song. There's a lot of process before that where you kind of rehearse. You get to meet a lot of people. You meet the other artists. You sit down with people in fashion. You meet a lot of vocal coaches. But as a whole, I think that experience was very important for me, because a few years prior to that, a lot of people don't actually know, is I went on Britain's Got Talent, and I got 4 buzzers. I got 4 no's. I got told I'm never going to make it, and, you know, that I should just stop singing altogether because, you know, it's not for me. And that was at 13 years old. Simon Cowell told me that I'm not going to make anything of myself. And as you can imagine, it crushes your dreams as a child. And, you know, the bounce back was amazing. And I think I enjoyed the process of The Voice because they actually nurture you. It's all about singing. It's not just, you know, your image and everything. Most definitely. So yeah, like the experience was really good, and I got to meet some incredible people. A lot of the contestants I'm still in contact with, and yeah, like I built a lot of strong relationships with people through that show, and I think it's an amazing platform, to be honest, because you'll always maintain your credibility as an artist when you go on that show, because it is solely about singing. So yeah, that was The Voice.
How The Voice was like new when you went on, right? Like fairly new.
Yeah.
Because
I think I was on, if I have a quick look, I think I was on series 3 or 4 maybe.
Was Jessie J still a judge and all that sort of stuff? Yeah?
No, so it was Rita Ora.
Rita, yeah, that was very recent then.
Yeah, it was the 4th series in 2015.
Okay, bloody hell.
Yeah, so very new, and I think at the time it had a huge traction, because it was initially on the BBC, so it's moved now to ITV, but mate, when I went on The Voice, like that show, like it was the shit, like it was, you know, it was hot at the time, and I didn't get it, I didn't understand it, and you know, the irony of it is that I didn't even get a turn. No one turned around. And, you know, I'll always be out here and I'll always be an advocate for people, you know, and an influencer to say that, look, you don't need people to say yes to you to be in a creative industry. Like,
you don't need approval.
No one turned around. I got 4 no's on Britain's Got Talent. I've been told no countless times in my career. You know, I went on The Voice, nobody turned around. You know, I've had deals on the table, I've had them taken off, I've had people interested, I've had people uninterested, but it's the fact that I know I'm destined to do it, so I will continue to do it. Like, you don't need someone to say yes for you to do well. And you know, that's what I'm trying to explain to people in the industry, because these artists that are coming up in the game, they're under this false illusion of being able to do all of these things, when really, like, you know, you don't need validation from other people to create art or be a creative.
100%.
It's the connection that you have with your art that people connect to. So
I love that. I love that response. So
definitely.
Breaking away from that, like, what was after The Voice? What was the process after that? Because obviously getting onto it was obviously a bit of a whirlwind, I guess, because you weren't even expecting it. Once you got the views and once it got put on TV and all that sort of stuff, was there positive feedback on that, or was it like negative, or how did things happen once it went live on air?
So I knew that I hadn't got through. Obviously prior, because the audition was pre-recorded. But a lot of the producers of the show had said to me, look, like, the best thing for you to do right now is work on some content, build an EP, have a project there, build up your social media platforms, because they said the second that this audition airs, there's going to be a massive influx of attention. It's going to be a hell of a lot of people. So what I did really was, 16-year-old me, I got in the studio. I started working on an EP, my first project. You know, I started lining up some videos, some interviews straight after the show, just kind of building a catalogue of unreleased things. So then as soon as the audition aired, then consistently after, I could just release and drop these projects so people would think, right, we've got content, we've got something to look back at for this artist.
Yeah.
So a lot of it was really just getting in the studio and doing a lot of interviews, but also a lot of live performances, a lot of award shows. I was invited to a lot of red carpet events. I got invited to a lot of, you know, invite only events, a lot of charity events. You know, got to perform at the Inspirational Women's Awards. You know, there was a lot that happened. Like, there was a lot, and I think that time period was really and truly, like, I'm still in working relationships with people that I've known from 2014, 2015, and we're in 2020, you know, and I've maintained those relationships with people over the years, and we might not have seen each other, but we're still active socially. And I think it's the networking side that I kind of think I had to step up to the plate, because, you know, I'm fully independent. I don't have management. I don't have someone with their arm up my back. You know, I don't have someone telling me what to do. It's all what I feel like is correct. And a majority of it has been trial and error. You know, you try again. But a lot of it I've had to learn for myself and kind of be that independent person who's like, nah, like, if they ain't going to do it for me, I've got to do it. So, you know, that was it. And yeah, like, there was a lot of momentum off the back of The Voice, but I just used it as an opportunity to showcase some music, to be honest.
Yeah. And I think it's a great way, because I know you want to be an independent artist, right? I think that's the best way to go as an artist, because really and truly, I don't want to like say bad things about the industry, but the music industry is evil. It can be very evil. Especially with the labels and management and stuff like that. It's very greedy. It's all to do with money, and they don't really care about the talent. So I think the best way for artists, especially this day and age, where you got social media, you got TikTok, you got all these things where you can blow up pretty easy or get your work out there. I think an independent artist is going to be the new thing. Or well, it should be the new thing. I mean, it's different when the labels put in a contract in front of you, like, oh yeah, we can give you $5 million a year, blah 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 blah. But ultimately, like, with labels, you've got a lot to pay back with as well.
Exactly. So they'll offer you a very hefty advance, but, you know, in the fine print and in the moment of it all, you don't really understand the ins and outs of it. And I think that's how they get a lot of people, because I've seen so many people that have taken advances, gone crazy, spent the money on ridiculous stuff, and then thought, shit, I need to make it back. The single hasn't made any return. The projects haven't made any return. And I think that's why moving forward, like, being independent, I take 100% of my returns. Like, everything, whether that's 50 people that listen to my song, I take 100% of those returns. And, you know, I'm not saying it's a massive amount, because, you know, at the end of the day, the way these platforms are built and designed, it's not for independent artists. Like, you know, the way that Spotify works and the way that streaming numbers work and what it equivalates to, it's not good at all, really. It's not fair.
The Spotify streams payout is stupid. It's like pennies.
It's like pennies. And do you know what I think? I think, imagine if you were being paid even 50 pence a stream, or imagine you were getting paid £1 a stream.
Exactly. You know, all in all, we all know that they're making 100% profit from music. It's not like an 80% or 50%. It's like 100%, because they've got ads as well, which are obviously going to pay as well. So it's like each download they get, or well, what you get, they'll get a percentage of. And what is it? It's like 8p per download or something. Spotify, like, it's stupid.
It's like 0.0 some, like 8p.
Yeah.
And then it is. But you know what it is like? It's one of them things, and that's why I feel like the industry do everything in their ability to make it harder and harder and harder for artists to have a platform and have a vessel, because, you know, these labels, all they want is their artists and their champion artists to dominate these
Yeah.
platforms. And that's all it is. And anybody else is irrelevant, really, because as long as they're making money off of their, you know, main artists, like I'm talking your Ariana Grandes, your Drakes, you know, your Chris Browns, like your pillar artists. And I'm not saying they're not good artists or credible, but I'm saying they've literally got hundreds and hundreds of millions of pounds worth of investment behind them to generate that type of money. So, you know, but more and more, I think, although that is a problem, more and more now, people are kind of switching on and clicking on a little bit and getting with it and thinking, do you know what, we want to support independent artists. We want to listen to their music. And I think that's special because a lot of it is algorithm based. Like if you go on Spotify now and type in my name and scroll down and go on fans also like, every artist that it shows on that platform is a Northern artist. And I think that's really important because if someone goes on my profile to listen to my music and they're like, yo, I really like this, where's he from? And then they go on and it says Jamsey, Graft, you know, they're going to click on those artists and they're going to listen and they're going to build that association. And I think it leads me quite nicely into my next point, is that the city is thriving like right now. And I think labels will eventually clock onto it. So it's a matter of time, really, that labels start approaching us, because
I think they'll clock too late, because I think as the generation is changing and social media is changing and making things better for artists in terms of how they can then make their material profitable. I think by the time the labels start to pick up on the North people, I think we'll already be smart enough to kind of be like, well, I'm sorry, but you weren't bothered 5 years ago. And now we've got our own independent thing going on. We're making probably more money than artists that you've got signed to. So it's kind of like, it's their loss more than anything. And it's a very interesting time for not only musicians, for all type of artists, for even me, like as a filmmaker and stuff like that. Like there's so many different revenues now to make your money. I think it's a blessing. It can also be a bit of a curse because social media is a bad side of it, but you've got to look at all the positives and kind of blank out the negatives, where it is fair to do that.
Well, I think what'll eventually end up happening is that, you know, a lot of people don't know, but record labels, man, like they have a lot of things planned in advance. So, you know, there's things like they'll invest in an artist, make his career authentically look, or his or her career look like it's authentic and it's organic and it's independent, but really like they're investing in these people. And it will come to a point, and it's already coming to a point where labels will start approaching Northern artists and saying, right, we need your interactions, we need your traction, we need your engagement. And what will then happen is it flips on its head, and you have the ability then to negotiate and say, well, okay, if you want to be a part of this campaign and you want to be a part of my single as an artist, then you need to invest 25% of X amount, and you need to do this and you need to do that, and you need to, you know, push it down your vessels or use your PR or, you know, use your marketing to do this, to grow it. And, you know, at the end of the day, I think the mainstream industry, like I said, is very cutthroat and it's very negative. It's got a very negative connotation, but I think a lot of people don't see the other side of it, is that there is a lot of independent artists that collaborate with record labels and do co-signs where it's on their own terms and their agreements and things like that. I completely agree with. I think, you know, if you're utilizing something and it's beneficial to both parties, whereas with record labels and their own artists, it's only beneficial to one party, which means it's just a label, and the artist is sat there. They don't even own their songs. They don't even own their lyrics, the music. They own nothing. They own nothing.
Yeah, it's mad. Absolutely.
So, trying to move away from that. And, you know, hand on my heart, I think one of the most beautiful things in my career, because a lot of people say to me, bro, you know, why haven't you blown yet? And why this and why that? And I think at the end of the day, it's not one of those things that I'm like waiting for to
Yeah.
happen. I'm just grateful that I'm in a position where I own my music, I own my own rights, I own all of my own percentages. You know, everything is still mine, like it's mine. And I think as an artist, it gives you integrity because it's like Russ, for example, he's
Yeah.
a massive preacher on it, on being independent, is that no one can take it away from you when it's yours.
Yeah.
And no one can ask for something when it's yours because it's yours. Do you get me? And I mean, that's one thing I'm very grateful for, is that I'm in a position where I own everything. And, you know, everything I do, I'm at the forefront of it, and I'm the driving force behind it.
Ownership's key, man. Ownership's key.
Most definitely.
Because as soon as you don't have that shit, bro, fucking hell, it's gonna go in hands to someone else. And if you don't even know that person, it's really and truly, you don't know these people, that just because it's a record label and it sounds legit, like they sound like they think it's a good thing. But I think having ownership of your own shit is 100% the right way of doing it. And I think a lot of up north artists are already doing that. You know what I mean? Because it's like, well, that's all they've got to do at this moment in time. They ain't got no labels coming at them, or they ain't even had a look into it. Therefore, they're building their own kind of shit, like you said. So therefore, they've got every right of their own shit when it does pop.
True. And that's why a lot of people are like, oh, when these artists do have their moment, they're like, oh, they're so arrogant, they're so this, they're so that, but they can do whatever they want because they literally went through hardship in music. They went through the most. They went through every single person sleeping on them, not believing in them, to proving people wrong. And you know, that's another driving factor. It's a motivating factor, is wanting to prove people wrong, because a lot of people just aren't with it, or don't want to support until they can see you doing something special.
And then they want to jump on the bandwagon. Now that feels, bro. I had something in my head then. Kind of just lost my memory. But that's it. Music industry is tough, bro. Like I said to everyone, music industry is definitely by far the toughest industry in the creative field, 100%. Because if you think about it, your outgoings is endless. You got the music videos to pay for, you got producers, you've got software, you've got so many different things that are outgoing.
Equipment.
And don't get me wrong, once you make it, you're making hella money, so you're making mad return, but that's not the point. Like, it is a tough journey until you
get like the initial investment, because, you know, then you need an interface, then you need to invest in a laptop, you need a microphone, you need a space to record, you know. Then you got production payouts for producers, you know. It is a lot, man. It is a lot. But like you said, the returns are very rewarding. But it's I always think to myself, I think I could have signed a deal with a label years ago, and I could have been in a position where, you know, I would have had my 15 minutes, I would have had a little bit of recognition, but I would have had no creative freedom. We wouldn't have had this conversation, for example, or, you know, I wouldn't have music out there that people can refer to or look back to or, you know, listen to. And I think that is the biggest factor for me, is that creative control, and having that creative, you know, leeway, because I could have just been tied down in a label and they could have been like, right, well, you're not releasing music for the next 5 years because so-and-so have been waiting before you. And, you know, I know that without any stress in my mind, I could just drop a track now. I could drop a video now. I could do, you know what I'm saying? Like, because there's no one there to say I can't. And I think that's one of the biggest variables, to be honest.
100%. I preach that. Freedom's everything. It's same with me with what I do. I don't want to work for a production team because therefore I'm working on their terms. And I'm all right doing it on certain projects. I want to collaborate. I want to learn. I want to do these things. But I don't want to be tied down to somebody or a business that's telling me to do everything every single day. Because I think it's just not healthy, first of all. And it's not the route I want to go. Some people want that route, which is fair enough. If they want that, then by all means go for it. But for me, I think it's all about finding what it is you want and going full force into it, and don't be what's the word I'm looking for? Don't fall into a trap where, because it's not working out in that time, you're like, right, well, I need to do plan B, which is what I don't want to do. Because if you continue, keep going, because it is a journey, bro. Like, it's gonna take years to even see any sort of profit.
True.
And like, I've only recently, the past 2 years, I've only seen a profit in my business, and even then, it's like I'm doing a lot of stuff that I don't want to be doing. I'm just doing it to get paid. So,
And a lot of it, I bet, a lot of it is nothing compared to what you've put in or invested.
It's nothing, and it's frustrating as well, because a lot of the time I'm not even having the creative freedom. So therefore, a lot of things come into it. It's like I'm not getting paid enough for what I do. Second of all, it's not good for my creativity and mental state, because I'm not doing what I want to do. And third of all, I'm doing something that I said I wouldn't do. So it's kind of like, so this year especially, I'm just picking a lot of different choices and doing things that make me happy, because ultimately it all comes down to happiness. And if you're happy with doing something you're doing, then there's no one that can say shit. And even if people do say shit, you're gonna ignore it because you're happy doing what you're doing. I think that's why I started YouTube as well, because that gives me now freedom to do what I want to do on my own space, where people are already following me. So it's like, I can take these jobs, not as often as I did, but I can take these jobs where I don't have creative freedom on. I'm just doing it to get paid. But I have YouTube now to counterbalance my creativity. And if I feel creative and I want to do something, I'm not tied down to it.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, there's nothing negative that can come from it, because if you think about it, these jobs that you're getting paid for, you're working to a brief, you're working in industry. So it helps you grow yourself as a business. And it helps you become investable, because then people think, right, well, I've got a deadline, I've got a project, I need someone who's clean cut, who I know can work to this time frame, who's efficient, and they're going to think, right, Tom Gelder, do you know what I mean? Because you've shown that you're competent in those roles, but then also you're using your own platform to showcase your creativity and what you enjoy and what you love. So it's special, man. And at the end of the day, what you're doing is like, bro, I'm an avid watcher of your YouTube. Like, I'm a subscriber. Like, I watch all your videos, all your editing videos, even down to like, I notice details. So I watch videos, YouTube. Like, I'm a massive YouTube fan. And I appreciate everything from down to like the opening scene to the final cut of the edit, to the where you say bye, and when down to sharing your previous video in the new video. Like, bro, I love it. You know what I mean? And I think it's amazing because I watch your YouTube, and regardless of us being friends, I'd watch it if I wasn't your friend. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd watch it if I didn't know you. So it's one of those things. It's like, it's also an enjoyment thing. Like, I enjoy watching it.
For me, it's also giving back to people that was in my situation at one point. So therefore, I know how it feels when I didn't have a lot of money to invest in all, and I just had a little rubbish camera, and I wanted to learn. But then it got to a point where a lot of tutorials would then branch out and get different cameras and bigger, expensive stuff and all this other shit that I don't have the money to do that at the moment. So I feel like a lot of channels kind of faded off from
giving advice.
Yeah, exactly, from giving advice, because although I'm doing better for myself with my YouTube and going back in time and doing everything as cheap as possible, but trying to make it look as good as possible at the same time. And not many channels are really doing that. Every channel's kind of like cinematic stuff, or you need this lighting that costs £500. What happened there?
I just dropped my candle, lads.
Oh no!
All right, it's not smashed. Right, carry on. You can cut that bit out, mate.
I'm keeping it in. It's raw. So yeah, I think for me, it's just like giving back to people that, especially on my YouTube, giving back to people that was once in my position, because I know how it feels, and it all comes down to detail, bro. Like, even
beautiful.
It's
beautiful.
I haven't branched off and done After Effects or all that, because to have the full software, it costs £50 a month. and
Wow.
people can't afford
People
that
can't
shit.
afford that. Yeah, man.
So I'm sticking to one
Imagine.
program, which is Premiere Pro, which I think is like £8 to £10 a month. So I'm
Yeah.
really trying to do the most in order to like really relate to people, and I hope it's
Because I
coming
think
across.
this is what's special, bro. Because even what you're doing, like on your platform, bro, and what I've seen your missus do as well, Joanne, with
Yeah,
her education platform as well, and it's beautiful, bro. Because what you're doing is you're spreading knowledge, you're
yeah,
giving back to people, and I think that's one of the main things that a lot of people don't do. It's like, I can do this, and you have to find out how to do it, or you can't do
yeah.
it. But at the end of the
Honestly, got me
day,
like that.
you have to grow, you have to learn, you have to share the knowledge. And I think even with
100%.
myself, like I just started a company called Empire Nation, um and it's basically an artist development platform
Yeah,
for artists in the north, in Leeds, specifically for artists in Leeds. And I think, bro, it's so vital to give back to the community, to give back to the people, because how can we expect people to grow if we're not educating each other? But I sit and I watched your Walkers advert, and I was like, yo, like, it's so insane that you're literally showing people, look, you need 1, 2, 3 things,
don't need.
right? 4 things. You don't need a red camera. You don't need a big ass studio. You don't need £100, buffer,
Yeah.
£200-300 K buffer. Like, you don't need that shit. Like, you just need one camera,
You
3
know,
items.
the funny thing about that, right? I got quite a bit of hate on that because I got like loads of pages with sharing it and stuff.
Hmm.
And I look at the comments just out of curiosity. Like, comments don't really bother me, and even if they do,
Yeah.
like even negative ones, it just makes me want to do even better.
Hmm.
But it's just I don't understand the mentality of people, and because the caption were like, "Oh, can you believe he made this in his bedroom?" Blah blah blah. People commenting, "Yeah, yeah, it's shit," blah blah blah, and all this stuff. And I'm just like, when did the world become so negative? And when
I'm dropping so much shit, man. Sorry. Sorry.
it's cool, bro. Um,
Carry on. Carry on.
but yeah, that's why I'm not trying to build that. I'm trying to build a community because I know it can get evil and negative like that. And
Yeah.
when you're starting out and stuff like that, the reason why I did that is because I'm showing people, look, you don't, like you said, you don't need a studio. I got one
Yeah.
camera, I had one light, and I just use my creativity to make it. I use my fucking TV and
Exactly.
green screen, for God's sake.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
and for people to criticize that, it just goes to show how much people want to bring you down in these sort of industries. And I'm not vouching it as a negative place to be in because it's not. There's a lot of good
Hmm.
people in this industry,
Yeah.
but do expect a lot of negativity when you come into this industry because people
No.
ultimately do want to drag you down for them to build themselves up. But those type of people will not last for long because ultimately, as a creative, in all aspects of creative industry, we need to work as a team in order to grow. So
100%.
those type of people, yeah, they might be doing well for now, but it's going to get to a point where they're going to end up fading off and stuff like that because people want to work with those type of people because they'll soon find out that they don't like working as a team. It's just for their own benefit. And
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, everyone wants to eat, everyone wants to get to the top, but there's a better way of doing it rather than being selfish. That's the way I believe and see it. So
100%. Well, do you know what, bro? We are the change, and you are the change.
yeah,
And eventually, bro, you know, the way the world works, eventually, as long as we keep influencing and we keep growing and we keep spreading our message on our platforms, people will listen. And the people that don't will be the ones that kick themselves. Um, but
have you
yeah,
been?
man, like just elaborating on that point of you saying that, it's quite a negative industry. Like, I felt that,
Mhm.
hands on, like being a musician and then also being a British Asian artist,
Yeah,
like not only from, the British communities and the British scene, but also the Asian scene and, Islamic communities and people in my community. And
yeah,
the truth is, right, someone is always going to have something to say about what you're doing.
100.
Um, all the time, whether that's death threats, whether that's, horrible comments, whether that's, what's he doing, whether it's in the street, whether it's verbal, whatever it is, bro, I have to stop myself sometimes. Not so much recently, but in the past, I've
Yeah,
had to stop myself from reading it. you know, going through the comments, looking at this and buying into that negative energy.
Yeah.
But one thing I always believe is that if your work and your content can emotionally evoke someone like that, or push them to the point of having to say something either negative or with malice or with bad intention, you're doing something right.
100%, 110%, mate. You fucking smashed
Definitely.
that. You should clip that and then use it as a motivation.
Whoa.
Oh.
But can I quickly go fill my water bottle up? I'll be 2 seconds.
Yeah. Go, yeah.
Yeah, chilling. I'll be 2 minutes.
No worries.
I've only got one sock on.
I'll pause
Yo.
I was just gonna say,
hydration.
You're like, every time we work together, we just end up coming up with something mad. Like, it's annoying because we have an idea. Well, I have an idea. Well, I approached you with an idea then this year, recently, at the 2020 vision. And it's just so frustrating that we can't get onto it as soon as possible because of COVID. But I just want to say that I think as a business, it's good to work with people that have the same mentality as you, or you bond with. And I've preached that in the past few podcasts. And I just want to know, as an artist, is that something you look for as well in terms of camera people or producers, or do you look for that type of bond? Because ultimately, that's what makes everything stronger and way better.
Yeah, bro, 100%, 100%. And you know what? I've worked with 3 videographers in the scene. I've worked with a lot more, but the main 3 are Super OG, yourself, and Josh from First Media. And, you know, first of all, I think they're all incredible, you know, very, very talented, you know, videographers. But personally, I've always had and felt like I've had a better relationship with yourself. You know, no detriment to the relationships I have with them, because I've worked really well with Super OG as well. I really enjoy getting behind the camera with him. But what I appreciate is everyone has a different style. But for me personally, it's about the connection and the process, and working with yourself. Like, you know, the music videos, like we've obviously worked on If Tomorrow Never Comes. We've worked on, you know, the Shade video. There's quite a few videos that we worked on with Jamsey as well. And truthfully, I think the one key factor is that transparency between us. I don't feel like there's nothing I can't say to you. There's nothing I can't bring up or be like, bro, I feel like this needs to be a little bit like this, or bro, this needs to be, without you potentially being passive aggressive or being like, oh, like, but
I'm open because
exactly, because at the end of the day, right, you know, you understand as a videographer that as an artist, I'm stood in front of that camera and I'm showcasing myself to the world, and I'm putting all of my trust in you, because it's your ability and your talent and your eye for it that is going to showcase me in that light. So that whole trust process is basically, it's the foundation of the relationship, because if you don't have that trust, or if I wasn't comfortable in front of a camera with you, then I'm not showcasing my full potential. So it's very, very important to have a working relationship with a videographer and a photographer, because at the end of the day, the more comfortable the artist is in front of the camera, the better the results are going to be. And just being able to just enjoy yourself and be yourself as well, because, you know, it's very easy to stand in front of a camera and be like, you know what I mean? Like, who are you? Like, that's not you, you know. But then
I was about
to say,
that's why I like working with you, because, sorry to input, but you have a vision. You know who you are in the music industry. You know how you want to portray yourself. Same with Jamsey as well. That's why I love working with you two, because you've got it fixed in. You know exactly what it is you want and what you want to put out to the world in order to represent you. And I think every time I approach a vision to you guys as well, both you and Jamsey, or just a lot of different artists respond to my stuff differently, but I feel like you two instantly get what I'm trying to get at. And I think
Yeah,
that all comes down to obviously the relationship and also the creativity. Like, to be blatantly honest, a lot of artists just want the standard drill video or they want the standard
they don't
music
have a
video.
vision, man.
They
Like
don't.
for a lot of people, for example, for a lot of people that don't know, like through lockdown, like we've been having a lot of conversations about concepts for videos and a lot of ideas, and that's literally working with the bare minimum. And
Yeah,
I think again, it boils down to the message and what you want to push and what you want to portray. Because, bro, anybody can stand in front of a camera and chat shit about drilling and about skrillers and drillers and blah 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 when that's not true. Because if that's your truth, then you share that. But I
yeah,
think one thing that is really and truly special is when you share your truth through your music and your vision. And you know, for example, you share your truth through your videos, you give people an insight into how to do things
yeah,
efficiently. My music, I give people an insight into life. You know, they can take anything they want away from it.
yeah.
But I think it's also about the passion. There's no passion anymore. People just want to churn out,
They
you
just
know,
want
the
to be famous.
same
Or
stuff.
just want to get paid and get
Yeah,
famous
man.
and do that standard shit, really. And I
And
think,
that's why I take my hat off to you especially, and also Super OG, because when I look at your catalogs,
mhm,
there's nothing that I go through and I think Tom would look at that or Super OG would look at that in their own catalogs and be like, I don't like it. Because you make sure that the quality control is there. Every project you work on is something that you're proud of.
yeah,
And really and truly, when you're proud of something, everybody else is proud of it
yeah,
because the
yeah,
pride shows. And I think that's another very special part of it, is that
yeah,
you have to be proud of the work you're putting out instead of just half-heartedly putting this out here, putting that out there. You know,
yeah, of
don't get me wrong, in the start of your career, you have to build a catalog and you have to, you know,
course.
work hard. But as long as you understand that you're growing and everything you put out after your previous project has to be better than
Hmm.
the last one. But no, to come back to your initial question, I think um, the relationship between an artist and a videographer is an integral part of being creative.
Massive, 100%. Um, I want to talk about, um, first of all, if tomorrow never comes, like, what the freak? That was nuts. So, like,
Yo, tomorrow came, bro.
telling me, bro, that did numbers, that did
Wow,
numbers.
wow,
And
yeah,
to break it down to people, we had no, we were just chilling out that day, weren't we? We didn't even have no, I weren't even going to shoot
man,
that video initially. And
yeah,
then we was walking back through the canal, and then we was like, we was playing the tunes, all your tunes through, weren't we?
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, oh, should we just do a video to this now? I was like, fuck it, why not?
Because you know what happened? That we were shooting a cover video that
Yeah,
day
cool
in it.
video, yeah.
So I did like a cover video, and I swear a lot of people don't believe me when I say this, right? But I made that hook up on the spot. I
I'm like,
literally
oh, I was
made that up. I know, but a lot of people don't believe it. Like, if tomorrow never, I literally made that up on the side of the canal. Like, my whole part of that video was all freestyle. And Jamsey, he'd written those bars, but they were just freestyle bars. Like,
yeah,
they weren't set in
fucking weird, man.
stone. Like, he literally, um, but yeah, bro, that record has literally changed people's life, man.
Yeah,
Like, it changed my life. It's changed so many people's life. A
fucking
million people have watched it. You know, it's got like 50, 60K on YouTube. Um,
over a million.
but yeah, man, like it's nuts. And even till this day, I have people asking me to sing that song. I have people asking me to, you know, share it. And then I think the biggest part of that song is the fact that even till this day, like my dad works in hospitals around West Yorkshire.
Okay.
So so you know, runs a lot of wards and stuff, and he's quite a big part of the NHS
Hmm.
in West Yorkshire, just helping around hospitals. And um, he told me that they play the song in hospitals, in
Brilliant.
wards, because like it
That's
makes people
mad.
happy. Like it really, like, people need to hear it. Like, you know, it's a personal anthem for so many people. And, you know, I think it's beautiful because we never, ever, ever, ever knew it was gonna have the effect that it did.
And it all
Like,
comes down to what we said previously. We was having fun, we was happy, and we were just making content.
we was just joking about, like, that video is not even serious. Like,
Mad.
it's just a freestyle. Like, we were just chilling, man. And I think that proves to everyone how amazing a relationship between two artists and a videographer is, and like
Yeah,
just
100%.
three creatives in general, because we were just having fun and it got seen by the masses. The whole world saw it. I have people in Australia, New Zealand, like Canada, that message me like, yo, we listen to If Tomorrow Never Comes. Like, you know, what an incredible record, what a special record.
Yeah.
And then just that reach, man. Like, I think that made me realize how global we can take it.
100%. Yeah, I honestly was not expecting that at all.
Yeah.
And then when Unilad Sound uploaded it, I was like, holy shit, shit's
And
about to go.
that was 2 in a week for me, bro.
Yeah, it
I
was.
got uploaded twice in a week by Uni. I went viral twice in a week, fam. Like, it was nuts. It was nuts.
I remember that exactly, because it was for First Media, wasn't it? It was a freestyle, not heat session you did.
Heat session, yeah. But nah, massive shout out to Jamsy as well every time, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna podcast with him soon, hopefully. So
yeah, man, I'm excited for that one. But yo, I might get a little bit comfy, me, Tom.
Yeah, get comfy, man. I'm comfy in this chair. I'm chilling, me. It's my little spot.
Me.
I want to talk about the Shade video, because that, honestly, I think when we break it down now, I think people won't believe how we did that in such a short time. So basically, let me break it down to people. Yeah, Harry sent me this tune, and it was like, you're studying in London at the time.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I've got this tune, I want to do video. I'm like, cool, have you got a concept? It's like, no, not really. I just want to go around London and stuff and just like get some cool concept shots and stuff like that. So I was like, all right, cool, when you want to do it? And I'm pretty sure it was like that week or something like that, something rapid as well. Like, okay. What time shall I come? And I was like, oh, come about 11, 12. So I'm like, all right, okay, cool. Bearing in mind I'm from Bradford, right? So it takes me 2 hours on a train to get down. So I think I got on the train at about just after 9, maybe like 9:04 or something stupid.
One of the trains delayed as well.
One of the trains were delayed, yeah, as well.
I remember.
So I ended up getting in a bit late. I think it was about 12:30 I got in. And then my train...
1:30, no, well, like 12:30, 1:30, I think.
Yeah,
like, around that time.
Yeah,
around
it was
that
later
time.
than 12. I remember it being close to 1, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't actually start filming until about 1:30, because we obviously had to get to the destination. Mm-hmm. And then I think my train was at about 6:30, 7, something silly like that.
Yeah.
So we literally... We had
the whole
5-6 hours to smash out that video, and honestly, I think it's probably one of my favorite music videos to this day. Not just because of like visually it is nice to look at, but just the story and how fast and efficient we worked. And if that was any other artist, we'd be stood there like, well, what should we do now?
Man, I weren't playing around me, Tom. I swear to God, I was like active. We were active. I was like, boom, this shot.
It was freezing. I remember that. It was absolutely freezing, and we were just smashing it out.
And it was like a sunny day as well, but it was so cold. It was so windy.
I felt like my hands were going to drop off at one point. It was so cold. But to this day, that's what I love about being, like, working at this stage in my career, because ultimately, like, I'm not working with people that have big budgets at the moment. And I know I'll get to that point eventually. But I love that process because it makes me adapt to situations that I would never even be able to adapt to if I was just chucked and thrown into the high production shit straight away. So if I can work on something like that in that such short time and come up with something that was pretty genius for no concept. Well, we did kind of had a concept, but not really knowing what it was going to be. To then smashing out with you, and then coming up with something in the edit.
Well, this is it. Like, you know, I speak to my dad, and the way my mum and dad raised me, bro, is like they always say that they say we know, Harris, that we could put you in any situation, anywhere in the world, you know, any time, any place, and we know you'd adapt. And then that video and that whole experience that day, it was like, you know, London was our oyster, literally. Like, no pun intended, like, or no cliche. Like, we had the opportunity to just go and do whatever we want, and I'm grateful that we got to do that, because in my mind, before I'd even pitched it to you, I'd already envisioned what it would look like, and I wanted it to look like how I did, and the whole aesthetic. And bro, I loved it, man. Like, going to Shoreditch and just capturing everything, like, you know, the whole process. Like, I'll always remember that, bro, how we just walked into Ted Baker and we were just like,
can we shoot
a music video? They're like, yeah, go for it. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
perfect as well. That light.
Yeah, like some of the shots and some of the aesthetic in that video it's amazing, man. And
I remember we found the rooftop as well. That was random as well.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, the stairs going up there.
In Covent Garden, that wasn't it?
It was sick. That was sick. That was like a moment, not even just for the music video, just like shit, like we're in London. Like, I think that was my first time actually shooting in London, like an actual music video as well. For me, it was a moment.
Yeah, man. And Joe, I wouldn't have done it with anyone else, bruv. Like, that's one of them things, and I think it boils down to, again, like, just the relationship and the trust and like the vision of it. And yeah, man, that is literally, it's not my first ever music video, but it's the only music video for a solo single that I have out. And you know, it's something that I'm proud of. When I look back at it, I'm proud. I'm like, you know what, like, this is it. And hopefully when I release my next few videos and when we do the next few projects, like, I'll start building up a catalogue. And you know, that continuity just with yourself, and even though not visually continuity, like, it won't look the same, but it'll have the same edit, it'll have the same vibe, you know, the same energy.
The stuff bro, that we've got lined up, especially the ideas and stuff like that, people aren't ready for it, bro.
Yeah, man.
As soon as we can get again, obviously times are a bit tough at the moment, but as soon as we can crack out and do the ideas we've got, I think it's game over for a lot of people. For
sure. And the music is just leveling right now.
I've been blasting it in the car, bro, full blast every time. The tunes that you've sent me, I just blast it out.
Yo, trust me. But yo, the Shade video.
It's sick. Yeah, it's sick, bro.
Yeah, man. But yeah, bro, it's sick. And that day in London was just popping, bro. It was just popping. Like, I knew everywhere I wanted to shoot. I was like, boom, here, literally straight on.
The thing about you, like, you prepared and you planned. I hate working with artists that have no idea. Like, they say they got it sorted, and then, because I would love to take control, but they just don't let me. So they say they got it sorted. So I'm like, cool, get on the shoot, and it's just like they've got the first shot in the head sorted. After that, they don't have a clue what they want to do. So for me, I'm just like, I'm trying to avoid all that now, and I'm trying to really fixate on real artists that I class as real creatives and stuff like that, and work with them very, very tightly, and try push it even further than we have been doing, rather than just doing a video. I really want to try, like, work as a team to get it out there more, because ultimately, if your music gets out there more, you're going to be winning. And if my video gets out there more, I'm going to be winning. So it's a joint thing.
Exactly. But do you know what? I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like my extensive media training, or like whether it's just how well I've trained myself. But I could have gone through 101 things before the camera turns on. But the second the camera turns on and I'm in front of the camera, you know, it's just straight professional. It's just ready. You know what I mean? Like, I'm camera ready. I'm ready to go. Let's go. I've got everything planned out in mind. You know, I'm not saying I'm perfect, because, you know, it took me 2 days to get on this Zoom chat. But like, you know, once I'm there and once I'm active, like, you know, I'll always do that. And I think that's another thing which is really important to bring up, is I don't think people are as invested as we are. It's
Yeah.
not just about finishing the project. It's not just about the song or the video. It's because this is what we're meant to do. Like,
It's
this is what
passion.
we love to do. And
And that's where it
I
comes down
think,
to, right? It's passion. And end of the day, if you don't have a passion for something that you're doing, then ultimately you're just doing it for numbers. And I've said in
yeah,
I'm starting to realize numbers are such a bad thing.
mate.
Really, like really, really bad. So I think if you're
You know
doing it,
when I first started in my career, Tom.
mm,
Pardon me. There was a radio presenter, and I sat down with him a few times. He was a radio presenter on Radio 2. I'm not going to name names.
yeah,
But he was a radio presenter over like Radio 2, Radio 6, whatever.
mm-hmm,
And he said to me, he was like, I said to him, I was like, yo, like, you know, do you know anyone that can potentially manage me? This must have been about 2016, 2017.
yeah,
It's like, yo, do you know anyone that can manage me or, you know, help me or sign me or do anything? And he goes, what are your numbers like? What numbers are you doing? You know, how many views do you have on here? How many views do you have on here? And what's this like? And what's that like? And at the time, bro, you know where it was? Mentally, from the age of 16 till about the age of 20, or even like 18, 19, numbers were never a thing to me. I never thought about the views or how many people
yeah,
are listening. And even till this day, when I now look back from 2016 to now 2020, and I look at my view trail and how it's grown, how many times I've hit 1 million, how many times I've hit 100,000, 50K, like, and I remember having like 100 views. And
mm-hmm,
now I look back and I'm like, it's at a milli. Like, I've got 1 milli views, or I've got 100,000 views, and it's not something that I ever used to think about, and it's something that people always used to bring up.
yeah,
And everybody I ever spoke to, I even spoke to you about it. I said, "Yo, Tom, how can I get my views up? How can?" And you said,
yeah,
"Harris, you can't. You can't. You have to keep releasing. You have to be consistent. You'll organically grow." And you said to me, you went, "You will see the growth. Like, you'll see it happen." And I think because of that, because I never considered numbers to be a thing,
yeah,
it always let me release things in such a clean-hearted way, because I'd put things out and I wouldn't be bothered about how many people are going to listen to it
that's
or look at it. I'd
that's the
put it
truth.
out and be like, yo, like, I'm happy to have this out. And
Yeah,
even now, till this day, bro, I don't think that numbers define you, because there's artists that are out here that are unbelievably incredible, that touch my soul, that have about 10 views, and it
yeah,
means nothing, because they could captivate 100,000 people in a room with their voice. And
yeah.
that's what's more important. The way the internet is built, the way these algorithms work, and the way that, you know, these statistics are built up, at the end of the day, it's just a figure.
It is.
And that's it, really. I think
Six
again,
nine's a prime example. He pays billboards and shit like that just in order to get a few numbers. Like, it's if you look at his lifestyle and his mentality and stuff like that, it's not in the greatest of positions. Like, he's
yeah,
doing everything for numbers, and he even admits it. It don't like music. He don't class himself as an artist. He does it
he
for the
just does
numbers.
it for the sake of doing it, like, and that's the first fault. Like, you know, if it's not something that you're gonna do for the rest of your life, don't do it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Because it takes the piss out of people that are really like, mate,
Well,
if I don't make it, I will die trying. That's
yeah,
how real it is. Like, I will be put in the ground, you know, till the day I die, I'll be making music, because that's what I was born to do. Like, my purpose is much deeper than just la 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 la. Like, it's not
yeah,
just about that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
it's
cool.
about changing the world, bro. It's about being a pioneer in my generation, going through the hardship, going through the cultural hardship, the political hardship, you know, the educational hardship, going through all of these things. Like, I wouldn't have gone through these things, or I wouldn't be going through these things if I didn't have a message or something to change or somebody to help. Because when I look at the industry, Tom, I don't see anybody like me. I don't see anybody in my position of my background or who's gone through what I've gone through. And that's not to say that there isn't 101 Asian kids
good mentality.
sat at home.
100%.
Yeah. There'll be so many Asian kids that are sat at home thinking, oh, I really want to sing. Like, I want to sing. I can sing, but who do I have to look up to? Who do I have that is an inspiration to me to say, I can do it? And I want to be that guy. You know what I'm saying? I want to be that guy to all the brown faces, all the white faces. You know, forget even culture, ethnicity, color. I just want to be an influential person to anybody to say, it doesn't matter where you're from, who you are, what you've been through. You can do it. Like, you can genuinely do it. And only the clean-hearted people will prevail, and only the real will prevail, man, because we'll see so many people drop off through this process, and we already have. Like, where are those people that we were competing with, like, you know, months ago, weeks ago, like years ago? They're not here anymore because they're not cut out for this. And that's the difference, really and truly.
100%, bro. And I've got my point again.
But deep funds, man. Deep funds.
It is deep one, bro. It is deep. And I think it's a great conversation to be having. I don't know if people are going to be still listening at this point. It's been over an hour. But if you are, then I really hope that this really changes your mentality and the way you see life, because
I've always believed in dropping gems. And the thing is, like, if you have got to this point in the interview and you're still listening, like, you have that drive. Like, you're here because you acknowledge this information and you take it on board. And this is the shit that nobody tells you. Like, these are the conversations that nobody listens to. And, you know, you're probably sat here thinking, or you've been sat there thinking, what do I need to do? What do I need to hear? What do I need to say? Where do I need to go? And this is the shit. This is the conversations that you need to be, you know, subject to, because, 100%. You know, me and Tom have been in the industry. We've been doing this and we're still doing it. We're nowhere near the top, but we're on our way. And yeah, man, like,
it takes time, bro. I think, like you said, going back, that was my point. The real people and the people that really do want to do something meaningful, it takes them longer than it would for someone that's just doing it for numbers or for the clout. Like, because at the end of the day, you're trying to build something from your heart, so that's going to take time. But the people that are just there for the clout and want the numbers, they're just there for the little bit of hype, and then they're going to die off. Or once the hype's not there, they're going to feel shit about themselves and they'll just go in a cave and you won't hear about them anymore. So it's a dangerous game. You need to know what you want, but ultimately you need to ask your question, whatever makes you happy, and don't think about numbers, because as soon as you do, as I mentioned before, you start to decline, and not just the numbers, you as a person and your mental state as well. So,
well, I'm so grateful that, you know, like, from when I first started this, from like the age of 15, 16, I'm so lucky that I never let numbers be a thing that meant something to me.
That's not luck, bro. That's not luck. That's built inside, bro.
Well, yeah, do you know what? You're right. And again, I'm very lucky to have my family around me and people around me to say that, because, you know what, like, even when I see 1 million views, bro, even though I'm like, yo, that is insane.
It's awesome, yeah.
Well, it still doesn't, it's not like, it doesn't mean anything, because
it's just an appreciation of hard work. That's all it is. And that's where the fulfillment comes in, because it's like, oh, finally, I've worked all these years for it to finally pay off. Like, it's not a bad thing acknowledging numbers, but don't live your life for numbers, because that's
like, numbers talk, numbers this, numbers that. Nah, bullshit, man. Nah. What talks is your lyrical content, is your message, and the quality of your work.
100%. And going back to the reason of this podcast, the reason why I did this is to have these conversations, like you said, because people are scared to have these conversations because they think it's going to ruin their reputation or ruin all that. But really and truly, this is the truth of the industry that we're in. And I'm not exposing it as, oh, it's an evil thing. I'm just giving people advice on what path there is, apart from the industrial thing that people think that's the route. No, there's so many different routes. And if you go this route, this is what possibly could happen because it's happened before. And here,
well, every successful person that I know, whether that's in your network or whether that's in my network or anybody that I know through you or even yourself, we've always, and everybody that we know, we've always gone against the norm. We've always gone against the grain. We've always taken the unconventional route. We've always done our own thing. We've never been fearful. We've always stepped out and done what we thought is right. And that's all we can do. And, you know, this industry is one of them things is, I think we forget we're a part of it. That's the biggest part. We talk about this thing like it's miles away, like it's all the way over there, but we are a part of it. We're here, and it's literally here and here, and we're a part of it. And it wouldn't work if it wasn't for artists like us, because we're that breath of fresh air, man. Like we are 100%. That breath of fresh air for people to think, oh, someone real, not someone who's, you know, we don't know or we don't think is real. So yeah, man, like most definitely.
100%. And there's only certain people that are really, really big that are real. Like I think I follow Jessie J on Instagram and she seems very, very real. Like she's talking out a lot recently about a lot of different things, mental health and loads of different things. So I mean, I got a little bit of a crush on her as well, but but I think that's why I really like Jessie J as an artist and just as a person as well, because I think she's giving little implements of what the industry is like, but not to the extent of giving a full.
Well, she's done it. Like she's done it, and this is a really mad thing. Is I don't know if you know about Jessie J, but she was signed for 10 years before she made it.
Really?
10 years? Yeah, she was signed for 10 years before she actually. Was it 10 years? It was around that. Like she's been in the industry writing for people. Like she'd written for Chris Brown, she'd written for Miley Cyrus, she'd written for Jessie J, hands down, is one of the hardest vocalists in the world, period.
100%. I said that. Like, she's at the top of Whitney. She's like on level with Whitney and all those.
She's up there with Beyonce, mate. She's up there with Beyonce. Like no one can tell me that Jessie J isn't that A-class, A-star level, upper echelon of vocalist. Like, she's ridiculous, and she's done all of that commercial stuff. She's you know, got the Grammys, she's done the multi-platinum, she's done everything, millions of sales, but she's still from Essex. She's still from London, and she's still like, you all right, mate? You know what I mean? Because
and she's taken away from the limelight. She obviously clearly there's a story there, you know what I mean, that people are not looking at, and people are ignoring it and just seeing the fame and the numbers and like, oh my god, I want all that money and all this following. But she's obviously took the decision to move away from that, and it's obviously a real choice of doing that. And but people just misread that and they don't really get it. And she's even being pointed out on the spot a little bit.
They just think, oh mate, she's already got all of this following and she just happened overnight, but they don't know she's been grafting for years, man. Like I've been a fan of Jessie J since she used to drop videos in a bedroom. She used to literally record videos on the floor in a bedroom.
I didn't follow her since. I think the first song I listened to her that I really was like, shit, I really like this girl. It's a really deep tune. I was in high school as well. Like it was, I can't remember what it's called, but is it
Big White Room? Is it like sit alone in this big white room alone, till my head back, watch your tears fall down. She's got loads. She's got loads.
Anyway, it was just that, and I'm like, wow.
Oh, is it Who You Are?
That's it. Who You Are. That's the one.
Yeah, man.
That was
Who You Are. Yeah, banger. Banger.
Bro, I'll get Jessie J on this, bro. I mean, if I get Jessie J on
this, bro, hit her up. Just be like, yo, Jessie J, what you saying? I want to get you on my podcast.
The reason why I'm wrong, because she's real, bro. Like I said, I want people on this that are gonna be transparent with me, because I'm gonna talk about shit, and whether you like it or not, or you disagree, then you can disagree. Everyone has their own rights and shit like that. But I'm gonna say shit that it's the truth about the industry, and if you're not willing to help other people understand it, it's not about, like I say, people care about the representation too much. And for me, it's about warning these people that it's not as fancy or it's not as easy as people think it is. So it's me just to kind of like giving knowledge on that subject and make people.
Do you know, just off the back of your point there, right? It reminds me is that here's just a little breakdown, and we're sharing some proper gems, right? I don't know if anyone's going to even get to this point of the interview, but you can cut this bit, and you can cut this bit and put it in the beginning. But listen, to any artist that is in the game right now, you are all under this false illusion, because when you look at artists in the industry, you think they smoke weed, they drink, they bang bitches, they've got cars, they're rapping about money, they're doing all of these things, and you go and copy them. You go and do exactly what they're doing, when in reality, it's a false illusion. These artists are living extremely strict, ritualistic lifestyles. They've got people that are telling them what to eat, what to do, how to train, how to prepare. And what you fail to see as an artist that's coming up in this industry is you think that all these distractions are what makes you an artist, when in reality, all of those distractions are there to stop you becoming an artist and stop you becoming a successful creative.
That's just an image.
Exactly. And this is what people fail to see, because they think it's about the image, when really they think Rihanna's sat twerking, doing some dumb shit on a yacht, when really she's sat on a yacht with a laptop out with about 10 people going through business propositions and business plans and you know, doing yoga at the same time whilst drinking a detox smoothie. But really, you think that she's doing all of these things, like popping pills and doing all this crazy stuff, when in reality, man, it's a false illusion. Become efficient, become an efficient version of yourself. You know, health is wealth, man. That is the first thing. That become an embodiment of yourself, and all of these other things will fall in line. And I know it sounds preachy, but people rake their brains like, how do we make it? Why does this look like this? And it's because it's fake. It's a fake illusion. To become a real artist, you have to work hard, mate. It's not about all of these materialistic things, because it's a facade. It's just a fake image. And yeah, 100%. I think that would be my biggest piece of advice to any artist or any creative is create your own lane, create your own vision, and be you, because there's nobody like you. You get me?
Bro, I'm going to end it on there because that was an absolute gem.
Thank
you for joining,
mate. Anytime. Awesome. And bro, the love I have for you, man, is, you know, bro, I can't even explain the love I have for you, bro. Like, it's the biggest blessing, and I can't wait for us to work on some more videos. And I'm also going to get you on my Empire Nation Presents The Finest in the North Series 2.
I love that, by the way, bro. Definitely keep that going. I know it's a uni project.
Yeah, man.
But 100% keep that going. I love it.
100. I've just done Jamsey, Skinner, and I've got Denmark tomorrow. And I've got some other guests confirmed next week. So yeah, man, it's exciting. But yeah, thank you for having me a part of this, bro. And you know where I am all the time. I'm here. I'm active. And yeah, shout out to everyone that's locked in always. And yeah, give us a follow on the gram.
Yeah, man. It's all in the description. Check it out.
Yeah, man.
Right, take
love, bro. Yeah, peace. Man. Peace and blessings.